Parastrut strut system is a set of struts designed by Parastrut. They can be used for multiple things such as building collapse, trench rescue, and vehicle extrication stabilization. Currently, we carry sets on both squads for vehicle stabilization. The struts we use are Parastrut gray struts. They have other sizes, but the gray struts are what we use. They're rated at 20,000 pounds with a 4-to-1 safety factor at 80,000 pounds max. We currently have two sizes of struts. We have 25-36s. They extend from 25 inches to 36 inches, so you have 11 inches of extension. And we also have a 37-58, which has 21 inches of extension. Based on what you're looking at and what the extension you have on the added to the strut would determine what length you need. Our current extensions that go on the strut are either 36, 24, or 12. Typically when we strut, we want to be over the center line of the car, above the center of gravity, because if we're at or below the center of the gravity, that's not going to help us. The car can tip over still, so we need to be above the center line of the vehicle. Typically what we'd look for is some place to come in that a strut's going to be able to be pinned into the car and then tied back. So something like under this frame here, maybe someplace here, maybe someplace in the suspension. Currently, the tips we leave on these, it's called the multi-tip. The multi-tip's design has a 90-degree angle there. It has a piercing tip. It also has a devil's noose to hang a chain through it. You can also put a shackle on it and sling things with it. You can see typically what you do is try to find a place like that, put it in, that, something in there. Oh, the tips all have they all attach with a spring-loaded pin. On the strut itself, there are two ends. The collar end has 4 pin placements around it. So when you attach that, any adapter or any plate or anything to that, you need to rotate this until it locks in. On the opposite side, it has a groove. So once it's on, you're not required to rotate that to get it to lock in. The gray strut that we use has 2 parallel Acme threads on it. That's how they keep their rating. This here is a 24-inch extension. When we attach the extensions, the extension goes onto the non-threaded end always. We don't want to put an extension onto the threaded end. However, with that, we can put a tip or a base plate on either end. Depending on what the situation is, typically we like to have the threaded end up towards the top with the tip on it and put the base plate on the fixed end. If you had something taller like a bus or a semi-truck or something like that, you may want to flip it over just to make it easier to reach the collar when you extend out the strut. In that situation, what you would have is somebody grab the strut, extend it out, and then have somebody rotate the collar to lock it in place. Otherwise, you just extend it up, lock the collar, and leave it go. These struts do have air fittings. We do not use them for auto extrication normally. This is a manual operation. You extend it out, lock it in place. We're not trying to lift the car or move the car with it. We're trying to simply hold it where it's at. If you put enough pressure on the collar, you can thread it forward. You could push a car over if you did that. So we want to usually put them in place until they're making contact and stop there. Typically when we arrive at a car on its side that we need to stabilize, we'll take a step chock, walk around to the compartment side of the vehicle, the patient compartment side, and we'll put these in position to just try to keep the car from tipping over on its roof at that point. Tires typically want to help keep it from coming back this way. However, we have found that the best method to use the struts in is to strut the dirty side of the car and keep the entire clean side of the car, or entire top side of the car clean to do an extrication. If we have to remove a roof or pop a door or take out anything, commonly the struts would be in our way. So we found by strutting the dirty side of the car, the underside, and tying the vehicle back into the struts, pulling it back. Typically by strutting this side, that allows us to keep the top side clean, and the struts then don't impede our operations when we're doing extrication. On the low side of the strut, we're going to attach a base plate. This is a 12-inch by 12-inch base plate. It has 4 sets of holsters each side you can drive a picket through. We've also found that in a pinch you can take a pry bar, flip it upside down, and drive the handle portion through those into the dirt. Typically you want it in at least 24 to 36 inches to get maximum And each one of these you would put in would give you about 700 pounds of holding force. This top side of the plate, this is a handle. You do not want to attach to this. You can tear that off. This is the anchor ring. The anchor ring itself is rated at 10,000 pounds. This is the cup. This has a hinge. For this demo here, we're going to put together the strut. We're going to go ahead and anchor it underneath this frame rail portion here. So we have our base plate with the anchor ring facing in towards the vehicle. We have a 24-inch extension on a 25-36-inch strut. We have the multi-tip. This is our threaded end. The threaded shaft will pull out of this tube. It does stop, however, as you rotate the collar down to prevent it from threading out. So we come up here, find our position we want to put it in. Once we put the strut in, we're usually looking for a 45 to 60 degree angle on the strut. So once the strut's in here, that's all it needs. We need to bring the strut in. We have a multitude of things. We have 2-inch web straps. These straps are usually rated between 3,000 and 3,300 pounds. We just go with 3,000 for all our work, just to keep it simple. They come in multiple lengths, up to 30 feet. These are tow hooks. They're tow keys. They have different attachments on it to hook around the car. So you got a hook end. You can put it on a component. You have a T-end that's made to go into these types of slots. And there's a small J-hook for large holes around the framework. Where we want to tie our strut back into the car, you can go straight in. However, we prefer not to do that because the strut lacks lateral stability. Then we usually like to create some type of V or truss with the strap to keep the strut in position where we put it. For this operation, we're going to go ahead and use a J hook here in this hole. I want to take the strap, run it through the anchor ring. I want to run it through once, then twice. It helps keep it from sliding. So coming back here, I'll hook my hook into the link. I'll take the opposite end. Find a component up here to hook this into. Once we made our connections with our strap, we want to make sure that we don't totally pull this tight. We want to leave a little bit of slack because as we tighten this, we want at least 3 wraps around the barrel of the strap to give it the full strength of 3,000 pounds. So as we ratchet the strap back, the strut will center itself. We just want to get this snug. We don't want this super tight. We don't want to push this strut up and in and cause us to force the car over. At this point, one strut would hold this car back. However, for stability, we want to put 2 struts in it. When we put our second strut in, we want to keep our line that our tips are making contact fairly close, so we keep our center of gravity in a straight linear line parallel to the ground. Once we have our struts in place, we have our second strut in place. It's preventing the car from turning back this way. What we want to prevent is the car from going over on its roof. Especially when we start removing components of the vehicle, such as the roof or other parts, it becomes more and more unstable once you roll that way. To do that, we're going to tie this vehicle back to something substantial. It could be a utility pole, an apparatus, or something like that. To do that, we're going to use a come-along. We can use a winch off the rig, or ratchet straps that we use at the base to tie this back. Once we put that in place, we would pull that tight into the struts, and then we are secured and we're able to go ahead and do our extrication on the top side without worry of this car falling back.
Action! So the first step would be putting down step chocks as our primary stabilization so the car doesn't flip while we're putting the struts up. So you just take a step chock, and I like to flip them over and use them as a wedge. One of the A posts, one of the C posts right there. And this just gives us our initial stabilization so the car doesn't come this way while we're strutting. Oh God, I forgot my lines. So what we typically tell you to do is, on the top side of the car, cut close to the roof line. When you do that, as you cut the roof and then cut it down, now you don't have any posts to operate around. Make sure you check before you cut, looking for airbag inflators, hybrid battery cables, any other obstructions like that before you cut. Kristen's got the Sawzall cutting A-post through the windshield, so once Ryan gets the cuts made with hydraulic shears, go right to the top.